1 second. Sorry, the wrong. Oops. Oh, this is the wrong screen too. There we go. Welcome back to Copa America. We're in a brand new best of 3. Blord versus Ruff, Ruff versus Blord, but this is also the winner's match, most importantly, for day qualifier 3 of Copa America. We've wrapped them all up today on this final day, and after this we got one more set, one more best of 3. But this determines group stages, this determines seeding, and spawning here in the top left corner of the map from IVD Gaming, your unconventional, your unorthodox player, Blue Terran Ruff.
In the upper right, as the red Zerg, it is Blord.
I guess there's some joke where Vanessa Tello is a model and he sees it's his ex-girlfriend or something. I really don't know the story behind it, but interesting dude. I remember getting to cast quite a few of his matches actually when we had the qualifier stages up last week.
I was gonna ask before we went to the map intro, wasn't there someone who had like the clan tag Pult and like Pult's face as their decal?
Yeah, but that was some day 4 qualifiers. I think. Oh wait, was this the one you weren't with me for day 3? No, you were there for day 3. It was day 2 you weren't there for, right?
Yeah. So so the last place, last series, I would know nothing about. Every other ones I would know everything.
Well, you got a good one to watch at the very least. Huck vs. Gem Rising turned out to be a pretty fun series, but Ruff is playing something similar to what, if you guys ever knew, a player named HCO Mario would do.
This is pretty funny. He could very well not see this on this low ground. The Overlord could pass by the bridge, or the top rather, and then go right off to the left.
And with the gas, this looks like an 888. Of course, there's too many SCVs for this to have been an 888, but he may expect Reapers, and that could cause a little bit of panic, but because he's already got gas, and because he went pool first, he's actually pretty prepared for this.
The question is, did he think of anything, did he think anything of the no supply depot on the top? Is that just like, if you know anything about this build, is that what says, oh, it's that build? Like he puts it on the low ground? It's like where else would he put the supply depot and why?
Oh, this is just so weird to see. This is, I mean, it's a full wall off at the bottom, so this kind of gives you a more secured natural.
It's kind of it's kind of like being a Protoss. Like you wall off your natural first.
Well, he's just gonna go with as much Hellions as possible here, of course, but still weird to see. And we do have Lings looking around the map for those proxies that he's expecting to come in. I don't know if Blord did his homework or not, but of course Ruff, he's got a reputation for weirder, stranger, unorthodox builds like this. And while he may not have scouted anything right off the bat, this may not be something that catches Blord off guard. Again, only if he's done his homework prior to this.
Well, the Hellions will be coming really, really early.
Yeah.
A lot earlier than you would expect. And of course, there being no Reaper, he's still kind of in the dark as to what's happening. Still has yet to scout the front. I mean, that is literally one thing he can do that will tell him absolutely everything, and he hasn't done it. I guess he's never going to. The Hellions come out, and that'll be the first thing that Blord sees.
What's up, Slowlings? How you doing? Having a time? Let me invite you to my barbecue. Oh, speed kicks in actually at the right moment, so that burn is no longer effective.
He's like taunting the Lings. The Lings get speed, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Oops.
Run.
Well, he's actually gonna take care of this pretty easily, and he can repair the little bit of damage that went down. But for Ruff, I mean, or for rather Blord, he needed those Lings to be home to defend. Look at this. There's no queens. There's no wall off. There's not going to be an evolution chamber wall by any means.
Usually when Hellions are out, like you have enough money to spare for a couple of Lings, so you know, bide time.
Yeah, well, he's going to repair these up pretty quick. Command center safely coming down, and even though with a spine crawler coming down, this could be very problematic for Blord. If he didn't lose those Lings, like I really feel it was wrong to chase 2 Hellions with those. If he had disengaged and came back with like 12 instead of 8, that might be different, but
yeah. If you thought you could get them, but towards the end, of course, that was not going to happen. 6 Hellions are on the way, and more to come along with an armory, so if these don't do damage, a follow-up Hellbat push just might. The spine is just going to finish, but it is not protecting.
No, he just walks past it. Immediate GG.
Wow, not even trying.
But let's be honest, what was he going to defend? With the Lings died on the ramp, the Queens were down on the low ground, they weren't coming back to the high ground. It seems abrupt, but Blord just saved himself some time, some headache, I think.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say like, oh my god, he's not even trying in like a bad way. Like just like a
oh my god, he didn't even try, guys.
Yeah, not like that, but more just like, oh wow, he didn't think he had a chance.
Well, what's really nice, again, this is a best of 3, so B-Lord may have taken a bit of an oddball start here, but for Ruff, that was an unconventional opening to what was I think a more standardized push, something you're used to seeing fast Hellions. You're used to being extra queens out to defend against it, whatever the case may be. He wasn't, because that's not what he expected. We'll see what Game 2 provides as we hop into it with Ruff and B-Lord, but I think B-Lord probably going to be a little bit more diligent with his scouting. I think the worst thing too is like if that overlord just dipped south slightly, he would have known way better.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's funny about that. Or one Ling, you know, he had both sets of Lings going around the map, never sent one to the front.
Well, map number 2 is going to be Overgrowth. I actually need to go set the introductions for this up. One moment, please. 6 and 5. But yeah, Overgrowth will be the map choice, and we'll see how this fares for these guys. Hopping into it now. We'll see you guys here in just... Oops, I just reset the map intros. There we go. See you guys here in a sec. Hopefully with the right intro. Welcome back to Copa America, map number 2. Currently underway. It's a best of 3 between these two players, and spawning here in the top right corner of the map, currently down 1 at the moment. Let's see if we can bring him back. It's the Blue Zerg, B-Lord, or Blord.
The bottom left, as the Red Terran, it is Ruff.
I mean, B-Lord just kind of makes more sense because it kind of looks like a condensed Bird Lord name, but I kind of also like Blord. Just sounds like an alien name, and it's perfect for Zerg players. Like, I am Blord from the planet.
Pretty sure Blorg is like a character in Futurama.
No, definitely not. There's Lur.
Sure. A minor character named Blorg.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. I'm a huge Futurama fan. I should know this. For
But
Omicron Persei 8!
All the main ones, yeah, but like, are you really that big of a fan that you would know all the side characters and one-timers?
I bet you I probably could name most of them. Honestly, when I grew up, I didn't watch The Simpsons. I wasn't allowed to, but for some reason I was allowed to watch Futurama, so it was like the only show I watched. This isn't a challenge, by the way. I'm just saying there's a pretty good chance that if you show me a face, I'd know the name. Either way, one thing for Ruff, he's going for the same sort of opening. Not like anything cheesy or crazy, but what I really like about this, well, what's unfortunate is if you're blindly like 10 pooling, this would actually be horrible. You would lose as a Terran player just outright. But what I like about this, because it's not happening, this actually kind of sets him up for a really safe natural. He doesn't need to worry about like leaving a Reaper at home or anything weird about the low ground concerns. He's just going to have a standard wall up in a much more efficient timing, I guess.
Now let's think of the reasons why someone would not do this. You know, why don't we see this all the time?
Early
Protoss
pools.
do it, technically. Yeah. You know, people don't go 6 pulls or 10 pulls against Terran players because they're always going to have a wall up the front. If you try and wall up down here, they will run past. You won't have an emergency cannon that can be put down. They'll run past and you will have nothing to help.
He can
Maybe a Reaper.
Do you think he'll sacrifice the reactor timing to go for the Overlord kill? I kind of think it'd be worth it. Yeah, he's gonna do it. So he lifts up the barriers to get the high ground vision and actually scout this Overlord out. This only buys him, like, it wastes about 10 or 12 seconds, but oh, a reactor or a factory or tech lab, not a reactor? What? I have no idea what's coming out of this. If this had been a reactor again, it would have been a very similar build, but a reactor or a tech lab instead of a reactor? This what, maybe concussive shells? Oh, he's gonna get another Overlord. Oh my god. Hang on, he's gonna get another Overlord. One Overlord sucks. 2 Overlords is honestly a little bit devastating in the early game. You don't have enough money to work with as a Zerg player. 2 Overlords, that's the cost of a spawning pool. Gone, out the window. It doesn't supply block him, but he's gonna have to build more very shortly.
Okay.
His tanks.
Tanks it is. So this is going to give him, of course, a really good defense in case, you know, Blord checked. I don't even think Blord is scouted at all this game, by the way. But if he did check and say, well, I can bust that because you don't have any units and, you know, it's low ground, a lot of things to snipe, a tank would make sure that would never happen. But also, I think what he could do is, we see this against Protoss sometimes, and of course in TBT, but those tank marine pushes with maybe like a Raven or a Banshee.
I'm kind of hoping he just abuses the cliff. There's been so few people to actually do it.
Oh, right? That's some Pro League stuff right there.
Yeah. Well,
Pro League could use this cliff. I know the
Well, I like that you're asking me that question.
I know, right? Like you're not gonna help me. But there was the Yansu cliff that was definitely done by Fantasy, I think. I think Yamaru or TY. I think it was TY. He's cool like that.
Well, one thing that's going to be important here is we do the spine card down. I think this is more anticipation of Hellions. Sad reality is tanks are going to blow this thing to bits.
Yeah. Now, he's not getting a really fast starport, so if it was going to be to really take advantage of that spot that hits the back of the natural, it would have happened.
That's a wall off, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Okay, it looks really weird because of the pipes.
It does.
It's like what was that? The Polar Knight had another weird wall off too that did not look walled off when it was. But Banling Nests! Earlier Spires!
Well, okay, I like the early Spire.
Mutas will be good versus tanks. He just got out of the tanks, but he was going into it blindly. So this isn't like a layer that came down as a reaction, and Ruff's making not 3 but 4 command centers right now. What?
Possibly going just into a very...
Oh, this could be a planetary.
Really quickly. Oh, you kidding me? Oh my god.
He's gonna planetary the 3rd.
Oh my god.
I've not seen anyone do this, but this will work because of the orbital's economy coming from this one, I guess. Unless he double expands for planetaries, but neither of those are gonna work versus Mutalisks.
Yeah, this is the problem right now. This is the problem, is that Mutalisk will be on the field. Ruff is going for mech, looking to be getting up to Hellbats, or maybe the armory just in case he does need a Thor.
I think he needs to get a Thor out. He's got no...
Yeah, we know he needs a Thor, but I don't know if he knows. Or even we'll get like a precautionary Thor, you know? Like, oh, just in case.
I want this to be an orbital so badly. Like, 2 planetaries, Ruff is weird, but he's not dumb. Oh my god, but he's gonna do it.
You just called him dumb.
I don't like this idea because he doesn't know it's Mutalisks, right? If there was turrets already coming down in the mineral lines, this would be different. Like, this would actually be insanely cool and abusive. Taking a gold base as a planetary this early, are you kidding me? Oh, he's just gonna planetary out here?
Oh, he's being so turtly. Oh, this usually starts around 15 minutes, not 8 minutes.
But at the same time, that's a fast infestation pit.
Oh my god, you please. I wouldn't, you know, honestly, in this situation, dedicate everything. I'm talking about everything. No banelings, no more lings, and definitely no swarm hosts or fungals to mutas, because he doesn't have enough money to really spam missile turrets as you would usually have. Mech at 15 minutes. At 9 minutes, you have enough to get 1 at each base and maybe a few more. But I think if you have, like, if you can dedicate enough to get 15, 20 Mutalisk, he's not going to have enough to defend it.
Well, I think Swarm Hosts are on his mind a little bit more, possibly. I mean, the big thing wasn't even he's seen no big tank count. There we go, some Mutalisks are starting up. He's seen nothing that really reveals that this is mech yet is the problem, other than 1 early tank. But he saw the planetary at the 3rd this early is such an odd thing to see.
He's building SCVs out of it. This is my favorite thing. He's building SCVs out of the defensive planetary fortress.
Oh, this one here, yeah. This planetary, by the way, it's going to be so effective at helping deal with locust waves, with ling floods. A planetary is the Ickbeat cannon on this thing. The splash damage cannot be underestimated.
So, 5 Mutalisk is just not a whole lot. If he didn't get the hive, if he didn't get the melee weapons, he would have... Don't make me do math, but if he was dedicating everything into it, he would have a lot more, because he's also still making up for what was probably Vipers or something. I think like 10 mutas, shortly then 20 mutas, and then 30 mutas, and then swarm hosts. Not, I think what he's going directly into Vipers, or maybe Ultralisk with the upgrade. Oh wait, no, flashbacks. Was Blord the one that like really had a weird style against mech.
I'm trying to
Remember?
recall what you mean. Yeah.
Like it was like Ultralisks versus like Thor tank, and we were
And
like,
it was like the worst trades that were working.
Yeah,
I don't remember if that was him or not though, but yeah, I remember exactly what you're talking about. It's someone in Copa America like that. I wouldn't be
it
shocked
looks
if
like
it was
him.
Blord.
This is the exact same thing that the other guy did. I think this is him, where he went for absurdly fast tech, and we're like that shouldn't really work because like he should just push it like 150 and then he should die because he only has like two Ultralisks, two Mutas, and two Vipers. But he would always make it work.
You know, the Vipers. You know, the Viper's actually going to be really important right now.
I mean, the mech player wasn't that great. But...
Well, I think the Vipers are going to be incredibly important to this, because not only will they blinding cloud the tanks, but the Planetary Fortress, for those who don't know, can be blinding clouded as well. You can stop all damage coming out of this big beast.
I am super excited to see if Ruff can play better against Blord's style. That is what I'm most excited about.
I know, because they're both going to basically be coming into this with a real unconventional approach to it, if this is the same guy we were thinking about before. I'm sorry guys, Zombie and I, for those who don't know, we cast like a lot of StarCraft 2. Like between this week's Copa America and last week's Copa America, we've seriously cast like a good 40 hours of StarCraft, so sometimes the memories do get mixed a little bit, but high-sec auto tracking on the way. I actually really like this idea, not for the planetary, but more so for the missile turrets.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess for those who don't know what this does, it actually gives you +1 range on everything. So well, maybe one extra shot, maybe one extra last shot. But 3 ultras on the way, chitinous plating coming up. And the only reason I think this won't work, not because of the tanks, not because of the planetaries, because of the Thors. If there were more mutas, he'd have to pick. I shoot the air or I shoot the ground. But because there's pretty much no Mutalisks here and there's a hell of a lot of turrets, Thors are going to be able to just truck away on those ultras.
You know, I don't know. I can't agree or disagree with you right now. But like usually I would agree with him. Like,
I can't
totally
even right now.
No, exactly. No, seriously, what's happening? You know, usually I'd be like, I totally agree, Rifkin. But we did that the entire like 3 games, the entire series.
Yeah.
And we were constantly wrong. Like the Thors would always like have the worst AI. They'd always like split up. The mech player was not aggressive enough, and we were just like, well, I guess this is working then. It was so awkward. So I'm not gonna call anything until an actual engagement happens, and I see if Ruff can do it better.
I think Ruff's defensive positioning, just by having the planetary fortresses down alone, is good, but what he's done with these turrets, more importantly than that, is SimCity'd. Ultras cannot rush past these turrets to go for the tanks. They're actually going to have to chew through them. And between the planetary fortress DPS and the tank damage, I don't think he's going to be able to break the tank lines, even with a couple blinding clouds.
I don't think so either. That's one thing for sure, is that he's not pushing Bastard.
Oh, you know what Ruff's doing right now that somebody yesterday did not? Corvid reactors. Yes. Oh man, nothing against Sendo, but that game versus Cats, watching 30+ Ravens get made without Corvid reactor. I like this run by.
Ace face right now.
Yeah, the ace our emoticon for Twitch. Now, I think the goal for this, of course, was to run it into the middle line and turn it into Hellbats, but sadly, not given the opportunity. There are Spinecrawlers here to cover it as well. So Blord's not exactly going to get caught off guard by anything. Actually, I really like the Spinecrawlers at every base. It doesn't take much to shut Hellbats down, but of course, if you've got 6 Hellbats, they can actually take down, I think, 3 Spinecrawlers pretty easily.
Oh, split map scenario, not unheard of on this map. This and Habitation Station, pretty much, I think, the best mech maps right now. Yes.
It's weird too, because you'd assume that would be because of the gold, but we actually see a lot of mech players who don't even go for the gold a lot of the time, as we see sort of just transitioning around. He's gonna put another planetary fortress down defensively, hella turrets coming down behind it, and look, he's gonna have to clean up the Overlord down here as well. Man, I can't get over the counting. There's 10 Ultras and 5 Mutalisks. That's the army right now.
At one point, it was like 2 Ultralisks, 2 Vipers, and 5 Mutalisk. And it was, Ruff had a good army too. Of course, he doesn't have constant scouting. It's one thing you give up as a mech player unless you burn, or unless you build enough orbitals and you have constant scanning. So you never are really sure. Even if standard tells you push out at 150, you can never be sure if they have 200 max army for Taija or 2 Ultralisks. So, and it looks like Ruff has been planning from the beginning to just play it really, really long.
In 2 minutes and 20 seconds, this will officially be a Brood War game on the casual ladder for the No Rush 20-minute scenario crew. There's been nothing going on for the entirety of this game. A couple of Lings have died to a planetary, and that's about it. The resources lost? Look at the resources lost! For 18 minutes of the game? What?
I'm looking. Oh my god. 500 mineral difference. It is huge.
I know, it's too real. Tank count's also a little bit big, plus hiding behind these turrets. He's gonna get caught a little off guard with this, but he can't auto-siege everything together. A big part of this, blinding clouds. In fact, not even sieging them at all might be the best choice here. Planetary Fortress, oddly enough, is the only thing not caught in a blinding cloud. He blinding clouded everything around it! But a lot of the tanks go down and the Thors can't fight. Ravens aren't quite involved with this, and the Ultras... why is this working? This is the magic of B-Lord.
Well, I think what happened here is that Ruff, despite being in a relatively like open area, was not spread out. Yes, he was unsieged, but it was like there's so many blinding clouds he could never go out.
That Planetary Fortress just seriously double killed those Ultras.
Alright, so that went a lot better. I think Ruff, if he had paced himself a little bit more, like had rows and rows, you know, like leapfrog the tanks as you would normally see.
Yes.
Just that army dies. The blinding clouds aren't nearly as effective, and of course you have added damage because the tanks are in siege mode. Instead, he just loses its 70 supply really quickly.
That army supply took such a dip.
It went from 500 minerals lost to 9,500. Just in a minute. This fusion core, that is one thing we didn't see. I mean, the mech player that we saw who was facing B-Lord last time, he was very adamant about staying mostly on the ground. He started to get Ravens a little bit later, but nothing that was concrete and ground damage. Like Ravens, of course, have auto turrets and they have their seeker missiles, but that's not constant as energy based, and sometimes they just don't work at all. Getting battlecruisers and Ravens will obviously work.
There is Bailings with this. SCVs clumping up to repair, get demolished. This planetary is going to try to hold. He's hunting for the Vipers before going in. He's looking for them, but he doesn't see them. The base is going to go down nonetheless, and Ruff can't engage because you know what? His army supply still in the gutter. He never fully recovered from that first attack.
I feel like this...
Siege?
No one expects the Ultras.
Oh my god, he's gonna lose one of the planters. He just cancel that. Lift it, try and save it? No, not even gonna be the case. Some Seeker missiles are coming down, some friendly fire gonna go off for sure, but the Ultras, ooh, that blinding cloud is a little too good. Thors are caught, unable to fight, and the, well, Planetary is gonna have to be the savior once again. A nice choke is set up here, but is this gonna be enough to hold?
Not quite. Ruff dips below 100 supply. He doesn't really have that big bank that we get used to seeing.
If he holds the Planetary, the tank will do enough DPS eventually, but the Planetary goes down and Ruff. Oh my goodness, he's gonna lose this game to B-Lord. You're right, he does this. Like, why does this work? He's magic. He's a wizard. Confirmed a wizard from our Zerg player.
Alright, okay. So this might make us look like fools for being, like saying like this works when it shouldn't, because it looked like that was the ultimate like way to go. But like Ruff was caught out of position. He wasn't sieged. No Vikings. He didn't expect that fight. I can only imagine he didn't expect that fast of Vipers, so there's no risk of like killing them.
He's making counters to Ultras now.
Well, yeah, of course, after losing all of his supply. But like it was kind of like you see mass Ultraless transitions versus bio, because it can go unscouted and you just kill the Marine Widowmine army because it's pretty much a counter, right? Not usually the case with mech, but if they're not like ready to see Ultraless, mass Ultraless, 200 Ultraless, they're still gonna make like mistakes.
Well, we're having a little bit of the BattleNet North American problems that we had earlier today. So hopefully this will clean up in a moment's time. It did for Huck's game. Didn't for Majors, sadly. So flip the coin and hope we get the good one on this. But if we can talk objectively here, I mean, one of the problems too, and this is why you see a lot of Korean-style mech involve more like Thor Hellbat pushes, guys, is because if you let a Zerg player sit back, they'll do what B-Lord did, and that's just max out, get a bank, max out again, and quite frankly, blindly just throw units at you. And that's kind of the power of Zerg. Like, yeah, there's compositions you can go for, and yeah, the Ultras are really good, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, honestly, he could have thrown wave after wave of Roaches, Zerglings, maybe Brood Lords, B-Lords, but the thing was, it was because he was allowed to sit back and just macro like crazy. He never felt any pressure from Ruff. I mean, the game's paused, but we can see he's got every map, or every base on his side of the map. And with no threat whatsoever, he didn't have to worry about making the wrong units.
This might be like, we don't see this that often, but it's This game looked particularly good. The games that we saw last time with him versus Mech were really sloppy, just on both sides. But this one looked like, he had this plan. He knew exactly what to do. The execution was very good. And I think it's like almost, I don't want to say a direct counter, but a very powerful timing to someone who is trying to do that ultimate turtle, First they get roughly 180 of like tanks and Thors and stuff, and then that's when they start transitioning, and by that time you're ready with 200 ultras. So it seems to be like, I'm gonna punish you for being like that really turtley player.
Well, Banshees are pretty darn good. There's only 3 of them right now. If this was the 6th, here we go. The other 3 now joining the fight. Planetary Fortress is actually holding quite strong here. Oh my god. Ruff wishes us back. But this isn't that impressive because he doesn't have a 3rd. And he's starting to mine out everywhere else.
It's a major problem in that he doesn't have another base.
Yeah.
19 Corruptors on the way. Well, is 1 Thor. There's no other anti-air.
No, he's not producing Viking. He's going to rely on Cloak to try and dodge these. But the one advantage is that's a lot of supply that just went into air. That's a lot of quote-unquote dead supply if this wasn't so Banshee heavy. But it is Banshee heavy is the problem. If he could somehow drag the Corruptors to fight on top of the turrets, maybe I guess this is a slightly different looking game, but what's scary to consider for Ruff, guys, is he can't really make the 5 planetaries, the 3 planetaries it looks like he's trying to set up here.
If Ruff's going to play Mech again, and I imagine Beelord's going to do the exact same thing again,
oh my god,
as he always has.
It's like a Charlie's Angel hit squad, 333 ladies all over the map. That's the official name of it now, okay? Deal with it.
All right. I like it. It's good. This is also could be a big waste, though.
There's no spore crawlers anywhere. They're all spine crawlers at every single base. You can target the spire.
I don't know if it's really gonna do a lot.
Well, you can kill the spore crawler at the main.
But they're guaranteed dead, though. The Corruptors eventually will find them. Maybe best scenario they kill off 5 hatches, but does Blord care? He has an army and he has 5k.
Yeah, it's not killing that many drones for it. I think going for some sort of tech snipe would be best. Whoa! While we lag out, oh, it's me. What do you know? Because that's possible. There's actually no detection in the main, so we could cloak these ones out of here. The Overseer's on the way, of course, but Corruptors are wicked fast. 1 Banshee segmented away to continue doing a little bit of damage. Psych! He just traded 1 for 2. If this was Hearthstone, that's called value. What? Don't shush me.
These Banshees still trying to do something. I mean, one thing that they might be trying to do more so than get real damage done is to buy time.
They did do that,
you need to buy so much time.
Right, but those were his anti-Ultralisk units. So... that's a lot of Banelings coming in.
The Banelings can be effective. We've seen it. The tanks, they're all clumped up, and they're already underneath blinding clouds. This is going to be the last chance for Ruff to take an engagement that kills 100 army and only 1 of his.
Can he pull the 300? Spartans! What is your profession?
Exactly what I was imagining.
OCV, sir.
No. I am like ready to like throw things right now. No one ever kills this guy's Vipers. He constantly has 4 Vipers that never die.
The lag is too real right now. This is so stupid. Ruff, the Observer, is now currently lagging out, as you guys can witness. And he's, yeah, I don't think that was a BMGG. That's probably just like, you know what, the lag's happening. I don't care. I don't want to deal with it. Game number 2, we'll go to Blord, turning this series around now to a tie. And I don't know if we'll end up waiting a moment or 2 to get the next game going, guys. This has been kind of on and off, and again, the Blizzard folks, like not like one random dude that's an admin for this tournament, but like the legit people at Blizzard have informed us that they are looking into it, as there's a Blizzard representative involved with Copa America. Being it's a Blizzard tournament makes a lot of sense. So we might start right away, we might not. For now, though, we're going to try to squeeze in an ad break, and we'll see you guys in, hopefully, with a new game, without lag, in a few moments. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you shortly. I think we're back from ad break at this point, guys, so we took a small little detour there while we were waiting to see if things would get set up, but we are in the lobby for the last game number 3 in this series. One thing I want to stress before we hop into it, Ruff did try and type GG. We'll elaborate that more in game. For now, King Sage on station. See you guys in a moment. Alright, welcome back to the game, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 currently underway here. I saw those names around, there we go. It is tied up now 1-1, and this is the finals match of qualifier number 3 for Copa America. I'm Rifkin, I've been casting tonight with my friend Zombie Grub, and spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map for IVD Gaming, the blue Terran player Ruff.
In the upper left, as the red Zerg, it is Blord. Lady. Lord.
Belady. Okay, so Blord played a pretty interesting game there. And again, there's a lot of this and that. But one thing I want to bring to attention real quick, guys. Ruff did not type anything at the end of the game. But we got into the lobby. The first thing he did was said, hey, I tried to type GG, but nothing showed up. I'm not sure if it did in game. So he wasn't trying to be BM by any means. He wanted to make sure his opponent knew that before we even hopped in, before we even settled into anything. So, hashtag good guy Ruff.
I'm like super frustrated we haven't seen someone beat Blord with mech yet.
Right? And again, the thing that kind of... Blord is the definition of like a barbarian Zerg, you know? Like if I was going to give him a nickname, that's what I would do it. Because there's no refinement to his build. It's just brute force. And in 3 situations we've seen him in, well I guess 4 now, it's just been kind of, hey look, Ultralisks are pretty cool. Come at me.
You know, we do focus a lot on the Ultralisks because they are the oddity. But it, like, the Vipers, those two, they're just, ooh, like, I feel like they're both playing so passive and rough, and, you know, the other mech player that we saw with, like, barely any scouting, and they, like, don't assume that it's going to be Vipers, even though that is a very common, offensive tactic used by Zergs. It's just, like, apparently, if they don't go Roach Hydra, then they're not getting Vipers, is like the common thinking or something like that. Like, but if they're just standing back getting 200 Ultra Viper, then like, don't, like, that's what they're doing. Don't not think that.
Baby Sky!
It's still good.
I'm sorry, this just came to me. Baby Sky was the Terran player we cast him against. I'm pretty positive that was the name. I could be wrong. Sorry, I got excited.
Whoa, that's a hole. Whoopsie daisy. Maybe that was on purpose. The Marines to go out of it. Anyways, it's gonna be filled up by the tech lab. Alright, so...
You know, what's kind of funny, though, is this opening, this wall that he puts down so quickly, guys. Granted, this has led to some weirder, cheesier openings. I kind of started talking about before we realized it was Hellions in game number 1, but there's a player named HTO Mario who is a pretty renowned North American mech player, and he would open like this a lot of the time, where you put the first supply depots down here, and I mean, it led to a command center first, not the barracks into the factory build that we see out of Ruff, but this is not unheard of. This isn't like the first time a player's ever done this. The thing is, though, it's still unconventional no matter how you look at it. Oh, for a second I was like, is he really going to scout with the factory? Like, what?
It looks like Ruff, maybe going for mech again. Of course, the first game, we never really got to see what he was going to do. Yes, he got an armory, but people have been doing that a lot just to get the Hellbats and then going into bio. Second game, a little bit of the same thing, except he got tanks instead of Hellions, but he did go into mech. When with the second factory coming down, it looks to be Blue Flame Hellion, and then probably into mech.
And that Hellion pops out at the sweet moment there. Ruff actually holds everything. I don't know, I kind of wonder if, like, Blord, we've seen, it's odd to say, guys, but we've seen more of Blord's late game than anything else, and it's usually not been because of his choice, but more of his opponents. I kind of hope Ruff goes with the aggressive this time, and I want to see what B-Lord can do and dance in the mid-game. The nice thing about Copa America, it does kind of bring attention to players like B-Lord, players that are not normally on our radar. And while he may or may not do well against Ruff, the thing that's kind of cool is we've already seen he's got some very interesting late-game tactics. But it's also one of the few times I've ever got to meet a player, quote-unquote, and see his late game before his early or his mid-game.
Yeah. I mean, the series that we cast of him it was seriously like agreement, no rush, 15 minutes. So it was not a lot to see in the early and mid game. Now Ruff tries to go in with these very early Hellions again. The last time we got into the main, and the queens couldn't chase because there was no creep. Oh, it's not gonna happen this time.
Well, while this was going on, guys, I was a little curious about B-Lord. What's really cool with the Copa America website is they have profiles created for each of the players. On the brackets, all you gotta do is click their name. And B-Lord is actually from Peru, and he's 20 years old. Pretty cool stuff. It's worth noting that, of course, in Copa America so far, he's got a 100% win rate for the season, but, of course, we'll see those stats change a little bit as we get into the group stages. But so he's not some secret Korean or Canadian or American, he's just straight up from Peru.
It seems to be that he is going back into mech, so we'll get to talk about it more and hypothesize as to why B-Lord seems to be working out so well with these ultras. I mean, the first time I saw it, it was such sloppy games that I was like, well, it doesn't seem to really work out unless both players mess up. So I'm not really a big fan of it. But now that it's working against someone who really had all the cards in his favor to defend it, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a thing. Maybe it's like going to become a thing. Something that's really like powerful against specifically people who do turtle.
We'll see if that can end up being the case. I mean, he's still the only example we've seen of it so far, but...
Yeah. I was thinking, and it's kind of like... that queen died in the fiery...
I know, she got punished is what she did. That transformation servos, though. These walls won't stand up to the Hellbat damage, that's for certain. He focuses down the one evolution chamber, it pops so quickly. This Spine Crawler doesn't stand a chance, the Queen doesn't stand a chance, and this Drone Line will be shortly following it. This is not looking good here for B-Lord.
That's why we're gonna be seeing.
God.
There's no place to run. That Evo chamber just blocked those drones from only escape.
I love that he untransformed some of these. He can actually chase these down now, but most of them are gonna die in the ramp anyways.
Oh
God. A great disturbance was felt in the force. No third base behind us, no units to play with. Banelings are on the way, but Banelings will not connect with enough of this. They'll clear out about half the Hellions, but it's not like Ruff stopped producing anything. Well, he did, he's supply block, but if he could, he would still be producing behind this. With 800 minerals in the bank, I don't know if he can hold on until the Mutalisks are out. Oh God. Yeah, he kills not even all the Hellbats. Hellions still going to town. They take out the Queen. Muta's about to pop, but these are the last few drones, down to 11 workers, soon to be even less.
Save yourselves, drones.
Oh God.
We're not.
Well, Ruff says, thank you for the Ultralist, sir. Here's a bit of payback. 2 drones remain, one's on gas, one's on minerals, and he actually doesn't have enough money to build another. There we go. Now maybe a third drone will be on the way, but the hatchery fell. No third base. There's a couple Mutalisks. All Ruff needs to do is camp around the turrets, get a Thor out, he's good to go. Some Widow Mines are even in play. It's sad to see our...
13 supply. 13. That's a sad number.
It's a sad little number. But again, what's nice is if you're a B-Lord fan, if you're from Peru and you're rooting for your hometown hero, guys, this isn't like a qualifier stage where he's out. This is the winner's match to determine seeding. So Ruff will take this series 2-1 in the end, and quite frankly, I feel safe saying that because there's no other way this game plays out. He's still going to be in the tournament. You will still see B-Lord in Copa America. This will just simply help lead toward what group he goes into, where the seeding is, and how we'll have to get to...
There's more Hellions in the main. Yeah.
I think he killed the last drone there. Let me check. Yeah, 0 harvesters at the end. GG.
Zero drone.